Part 1. The Illusion of Time Abundance. Most people live as though they will never die, yet they spend their lives as if their time is infinite. We speak of killing time, wasting time, passing time, as if it were some cheap, disposable commodity. Seneca, in his work on the shortness of life, begins by dismantling this illusion. He argues that life is not short, but that we make it so by squandering it. A person may live for 70 years, but how much of that life is truly lived with intention? How many days are claimed by meaningful reflection, deep love, or purposeful work? How much is lost in distraction, anxiety, or the endless pursuit of more? Time is the one thing we cannot earn back. Wealth lost can be regained. Possessions can be replaced. But time, once gone, is irretrievable. And yet, paradoxically, we treat our time with the least care. We are stingy with our money, protective of our belongings, cautious with our reputations. But we are often generous, too generous, with our hours, our days, our years. We give our time to people who do not value it, to tasks that do not fulfill us, to worries that never come to pass. And we do so out of habit, fear, or the mistaken belief that life stretches on endlessly ahead of us. But it doesn't. Seneca reminds us that life is fleeting, and not only fleeting, but uncertain. We don't know how many days we are allotted. The future is a blank page, not a guarantee. Thus, the wise do not postpone living. They do not wait for retirement or some distant milestone to begin enjoying their days. They begin now. Part 2. The cost of distraction. Distraction is not simply a modern problem. Those smartphones and screens have multiplied the ways we can escape the present. The human tendency to be pulled away from what matters has always existed. Seneca spoke of people who are engaged in nothing or busy with nothingness. People who are constantly occupied yet achieve little of value. He saw how individuals could be so preoccupied with trivial matters that they miss the very essence of life. A distracted life is a divided one. When our attention is scattered, so is our energy. And without energy, our time becomes diluted, spread too thin across too many things that don't matter. There is a kind of spiritual erosion that comes with endless busyness. A man who rushes from one task to another never has the stillness to hear his own thoughts, let alone confront the deeper questions of existence. He becomes a stranger to himself. Seneca warns against this. He implores us to reclaim our attention, to protect our time from being hijacked by the shallow and the urgent. This doesn't mean withdrawing from the world or becoming idle. Rather, it means living with intention, choosing depth over breadth, quality over quantity, substance over appearance. Even 1 hour of fully present living is worth more than a week lost in unconscious motion. Part 3. The Trap of Deferred Living. There is a seductive lie we often believe: I will live later. Later when the work is done. Later when I have more money. Later when the timing is better. But later is a phantom, a moving horizon that never quite arrives. Seneca calls out this trap of deferred living. He observes how many people save up their joys, putting off rest, love, and reflection for some imagined future. They endure life rather than embrace it. They delay being themselves in order to become something they think they must be. But what if that future never comes? Seneca asks us to consider the brevity of life, not to scare us, but to awaken us, to bring urgency and clarity to the present. Because the only time we truly own is now. The wise person, he says, lives each day as a complete life. Not because they expect to die tomorrow, but because they understand that fullness is found not in duration, but in attention. A day spent with presence, gratitude, and meaning is a life in miniature. And if we string enough of those days together, we have lived well, regardless of how long we've been alive. Part 4. Mastery of the moment. Seneca teaches that the key to a rich life lies not in the accumulation of years, but in the cultivation of the present moment. Most people drift. They are pulled by external forces, expectations, trends, anxieties, rarely stopping to ask, is this how I want to live? But those who reflect, who choose deliberately, begin to shape their time like an artist shapes clay. They say no to what does not serve their soul. They simplify, they clarify, they align their lives with their values. Such mastery of the moment is not about control. It is about coherence, about living in such a way that each action, each decision is in harmony with who you are and what you care about. This does not require wealth or fame or a perfect situation. It requires only awareness, the courage to be still, the discipline to direct your life rather than be carried by it. Seneca praises philosophers not because they are abstract thinkers, but because they live deliberately. They know that life, like a fire, must be tended with care. The undirected life burns out. The directed life glows with quiet strength. Part 5. Death as a teacher. What if we remembered that we are mortal, not just occasionally, but daily? Seneca believed that death, far from being a morbid obsession, is one of life's greatest teachers. When we meditate on death, we begin to see life clearly. The trivial fades, the essential remains. Suddenly, the arguments we carried lose their weight. The possessions we obsessed over seem unimportant. The time we wasted becomes poignant. Death reminds us that nothing is promised, that love must be spoken now, that beauty must be seen now, that life must be lived now. This awareness is not meant to bring despair, but liberation. When we accept that our time is finite, we stop postponing joy. We stop performing. We stop sleepwalking. We begin to live from the core, from the part of us that seeks truth, beauty, connection, meaning. Seneca invites us to become intimate with this awareness, to make it part of our rhythm, not to fear death, but to let it be the fire that refines how we live. Part 6. Living like the wise. What does it mean to live like the wise? It means to measure life not by its length, but by its depth. To recognize that some people live more in a single year than others do in 10. The wise are not those who have the most time, but those who use it best. They are present in conversation. They are mindful in action. They create space for reflection. They honor the sacredness of their days. They do not chase everything. They choose what matters. and in that choosing, they find peace. Seneca's message is clear. Life is long enough if you know how to use it. The tragedy is not death, but a life unlived. And so the invitation is simple, yet profound. Live now, live deeply, live deliberately. Time is not your enemy. It is your canvas. Paint with care,